Hello, everyone, and welcome to the American Scousers Premier League panel show. Back in action after a week. We're switching back and forth with Mecca over here, but the panel is back. Alan is here because Arsenal won. Alex is here, and Shay is here. Alex with Fulham, Shay with Villa, and obviously we know Alan. So we'll get going. There's a lot to talk about, actually. It has been an interesting week. A really crazy day today. Alex, did you enjoy watching 65 penalties being taken?
So it's been good talking to you. I'm going to head out, guys. No, I didn't enjoy the second half. It was pretty awful. It was pretty terrible. Anyone that's ever lose a penalty shootout, the first talking point is, it's a terrible way to decide a game. Just really bad. It's a coin flip. So that's my talking point for tonight.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, we were enjoying the Everton misery. That's the first thing I noticed. But then they told me that your game went to penalty. And I looked. I mean, we had a close one when we played. Was that the Carabao Cup final with Chelsea, where it went all the way to the goalies and stuff like that? And Kepa, I think, is the one that missed. But I saw that it like flipped over, like people came back again and started taking and stuff. That's freaking crazy.
To be fair, some of them were really good well taken penalties, but it was definitely not a clinic in goalkeeping. I'll say that. Proud of the guys.
And Shay, you have to be in a good mood. Champions League game, away win, an easy one. Looks like on paper. Was it as good as easy as it looked?
Yeah, it should have definitely been 6-0, but VAR took away some handballs, so it is what it is. But then the match on Saturday was the nice one, full panic mode, down 2-0. I was like, here we go.
Oh, dude, yes, we have to talk about that. Another one I truly enjoyed. And Alan, no game today for you guys. I did not realize until we spoke that you guys do not play till Thursday. By the way, though, Alan is from Chicagoland, and Alex is from Chicagoland, and so am I. So the Fan Fest obviously is going to be in Chicago this coming weekend over here. Jokingly, we did have an American Scouser petting zoo a couple of weeks ago where we met and a couple of fans joined, and there was like a bunch of us coming from out of town and stuff too. We watched the United game together, so that was fun. But this will be like a little panel petting zoo. So if you're going to be in the area, shoot us a message. You'll get to meet. I know, Alex, you said you guys have festivities going on for Fulham. And Alan, you guys have stuff going on. Will the Shays be required to enter the festivities or no?
Only if you're an Arsenal fan.
Okay, let's get right to it, I guess. Let me pull up the schedule over here, and here we go. It's gonna start kind of miserable, but what can you do? Okay, so match day 4. United made easy work of Southampton. Southampton is one of my leading candidates for going down this season. And to be honest, that's what made the Everton loss in the Carabao final, the EFL Cup, even more enjoyable. Liverpool suffered a miserable loss against Forest. It was one of those that brought back flashbacks where we cannot open up a defense to score, and the international break, post-international break thing. But I wanted to actually start with that because I do want to order back to the games. But since we had the panel, and obviously we're like a Liverpool channel, so we talk a lot about Liverpool, but I want to get your guys' perspective because this is something we talk about all the time, international break, coming back from the international break and stuff like that. And while I understand it to a certain extent, I kind of feel like it's kind of like a crutch, like the 6:30 games we used to use, because these guys don't go to international break once a year. They go like 6-7 times. I know I'll go around like one by one, but like Alex, like I don't know how many guys you guys end up sending. I mean, I was looking at it today. We pretty much send our starting 11, if not like the entire 18 to national games. Nunez was the only one who didn't go, I think, because he was banned. But like, how many players does Fulham send? And do you guys notice, when they come back, oh shit, it's going to be rough? Or is this like a Liverpool thing?
Yeah, I think Fulham, the core of the team all go. So like the players who you don't necessarily want the extra minutes in their legs, of course, the ones that go. I think the thing that adds on for an Arsenal or a Villa or a Liverpool is that not only are they going off on the international break, but they're going off to play in Europe as well. So I know it's just starting up this year with Champions League, but that's when I think y'all see the real deficit when folks get back from international break, is they've had to fly to God knows where and then come back, and then they play in the Champions League on a Tuesday. And that's tough. So Fulham doesn't really have that thing. Like, with Joachim Anderson on Saturday, like, you don't really notice a ton. Anthony Robinson luckily didn't play for the U.S. Well, unluckily for the U.S., I guess, but luckily for Fulham, he didn't play. So it's nice, I think, for a Fulham perspective when you see that guys like that don't play, because there's no benefit from a friendly against Canada. Like, there's no – who cares if Jedi plays? That's where we come at it more. I think as the season goes on, you and Arsenal and Spurs and whoever else start to feel that a lot more than we do.
I think especially the guys that go to South America and stuff like that, like the hour change, the flights and stuff really screws stuff up. How about you, Alan? I mean, I assume most of your squad goes as well. Do you always notice a drop off when they come back from the break?
In the past, yes. Now, no. There's not a drop off. I mean, we saw how mentally tough they were on Sunday this week. But my only gripe now is the injuries that we got during the international break, especially to Odegaard. You just hate seeing that. Fiore also got injured as well. So,
how about you guys, Shay? Maybe this is just a Liverpool thing, because I noticed, we all noticed a drop off in terms of how they connect. It almost feels like the backups are playing like they never played together before. Or is that a problem like Villa had against Everton initially, and then they woke up afterwards for something that game?
Yeah, I would say so, because now most of the team is going to the international, and we don't have the depth of experience, I would say. So seeing McGinn go, Onana. I mean, both our starting center mids are both starters for Belgium right now. So that's how Alex was saying, it's just a lot of minutes on the legs, and they just came back. They both started for the Belgium team, and then they come in Saturday and have to play for against Everton. And then same how Alan said too, the injuries, we got the little scare of Konsa getting hurt coming on for the 15 minutes that he was on. We literally only have one healthy center back, so that could have been disastrous for us. But then it's also how Alex said, a lot of miles too. We played Saturday, and then here we are today playing again. So they definitely need. I think we said the last panel show too. It was crazy to have the international break this early already. It seems like when they just played 2 major international tournaments, there's no need for it. Take a little break. Mm-hmm. It's not going to make a difference.
I wish. I mean, like I say, I wish they just did take 3 weeks off, go play 4 or 5 games, and come back, and then let's not do it again for I honestly think national team managers would prefer that as well, to be able to work and do that. I would really, think a national team manager would be like, yes, I'd rather have them over here so that, we practice together, we play together, we do it for 3 weeks, and then you guys go see you guys in 3 months. At least you know what you got, because right when you establish something, I mean, we have another one coming up over here in 4 weeks or so now. Injuries and stuff is going to be different people. So I'm assuming a national team manager would prefer it as well. But okay, I just want to run that by.
The point too is you can pick the starters, but let some of the other guys that never got to play for the national team play. Especially with England, there's so many dudes that never got to play that are probably been there. But let some guys from Palace, let some people from other teams, even Championship, get a chance just for one time to play for England. It's not going to hurt interfriendly.
Especially nobody cares. This. Yeah, I'm torn on that though. We were talking about this. I mean, I'm originally from Turkey, and so I watch them closely. While yes, I think it depends on the national team, right? There's no point in having Kane out there, maybe, because you know what you're getting. But in the case of a national team like Turkey, I mean, you guys probably watched it in the Euros. It's such a young team, so the more they play together, it's probably the better as they get ready for the World Cup and the qualifiers and stuff like that. But I can see some experienced teams saying, "Yeah, let's try some young kids," and they right back over there. They see the future and stuff. Let's give it a shot and stuff. But I think national team managers, they don't have a shelf life that long, so they don't really even look to play. It's not like a club guy where you can be like, hey, that young guy coming up, even if it doesn't play, we can sell him. I can use that money. There's a lot more incentive to play those young guys, whereas a national team manager can't say, man, 2 shitty results and I'm gone. So I think they don't roll the dice over there. But Yeah, I mean, it's always a pain. That's why I kind of like wanted to run it by you guys and see like how your clubs do. City, Brentford. Guess what? Holland fucking scored again.
This fucking guy. Yeah.
Jesus.
I didn't get to watch the game. I did hear that, Brentford played really well. Obviously, they took the lead and stuff like that. But, I mean, that's the City thing. And I know, like, Alan, if you don't know by now, you will know soon enough, is a team that constantly chases City until the final whistle is blown. You don't even want to get your hopes up because they always come back and, like, score and stuff like that. But let me ask you guys this, because obviously when it comes to City, the biggest talking point is, yes, it's happening. The court has adjourned. What do you guys expect? Honestly, I mean, as a Liverpool fan, well, not only that, but as a pessimistic Liverpool fan, I don't see a lot coming out of this. I feel like it's going to be like Chelsea's selling hotels. Sure, why the fuck not? It's kind of a thing. So Alex, like, what do you expect to see? I know it's going to take months. They're talking about appeals, February, March, God knows. But when the dust settles, what do you... I think when I asked you guys what it should happen, it could get really dangerous. But what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, these are such like genuinely serious charges. Like, it's not like this is a slap on the wrist kind of deal where it's like, it's an opinion based thing. They could have done it. They couldn't. This is pretty serious. And so I have to think that the Premier League can't just have like a show trial, sweep it under the rug and move on, because one, like I guess what credibility is there anyway, but what credibility is left after that? And the biggest thing is, like, now there are several clubs who have, I don't know if they put out official statements, but who are signaling, like, we have been financially harmed by City and their actions. And we are thinking about taking this outside of football and saying, like, beyond just losing a football match, like, we were either relegated, we got knocked out of a cup, something has financially harmed us significantly to the tune of 7, 8, 9 figures, maybe not 9 figures, but 7, 8 figures worth of damages that we are going to pursue. And I feel like the Premier League cannot have that happen. That cannot happen. So that there has to be something bad happening to City. I don't know logistics.
Something bad happening to City, doesn't that really open the door for those cases? Because now you're saying, yes, these guys are guilty, whereas sweeping it under the rug would be more of like, they really didn't do a lot.
But I think that's part of. I think that's part of the process, is like, if this is settled in-house, right? Like, there are rules from the Premier League and it's settled in-house and there are policies that are followed, fine. It's when if the Premier League says, yeah, whatever, it's not that bad, they didn't do anything, and the clubs can go to an external court and say they didn't even follow their own processes. That's why we're able to sue now. Because any other normal court would say, have you followed all the processes internally? And if the Premier League did follow their processes, then that's why I can't imagine they would leave themselves open to this of, not punishing City at all. City gets off scot-free and every other club is left holding the bag. Because a lot of it's pretty egregious. This is not like, every club's doing it. This is not what happened here.
No, this is
yeah.
What do you think, Shay? I mean, what's going to come off of it? Like, are they going to be blown all the way down a couple of leagues? Are they going to be given like 10 points? That's going to be 3 points after appeal? Or like, what would make what Alex is saying? It would be a statement, but at the same time, not cause too much trouble for the Premier League, because it's not good on optics as well.
It's definitely good on optics, and then oh, they're a big club, but I was like, they got success pretty recently, like putting them down to league or the championship. As detrimental as they say it would not be that bad a punishment. I was like, they literally did it to Juventus. They had the same situation. If not, they got caught worse, but how do you punish a big club like that has a massive history, one of the biggest teams in the world, and then they sit there and like, oh, well, we're going to relegate you, take all the trophies away? They could even do that. They could easily do that to City. So, like, I think everybody's just scared, and, I hate to bring this point up because they're owned by the Saudis. They have such a grasp on all the money that they've given them, so they're trying to play it, even enough to where, like, hey, we don't make them mad because, like, they're pumping in so much money. But like Alex said, if they don't follow the rules of the land, the country that you're in, like, it's not fair to the other clubs that get punished for something literally minuscule. Like, I know that we hate on Everton, but like Everton's almost in the same boat, but not that bad. And they're over here trying to basically destroy them. And like the one I sent you all a couple weeks ago, like how that article came out, it was on Sky Sports, that the Premier League was upset that Leicester somehow got away with it because they were in there. That right there just showed me that, so they were pissed that they couldn't destroy Leicester. But here comes Man City, 115. Oh, no, they're fine. I was like, you literally came out and just basically showed that you guys were hypocrites and you were willing to punish Leicester City. You're willing to punish Forest and all these other teams, but Chelsea and City are just over here lollygagging around. So
that's the problem. Like Premier League comes across as like the bully over here, right? Like beating up on the little guys, and they don't mess with the big guys. You're selling a hotel over there? Oh, that's a nice place. Yeah, that's fine. And then you guys are doing this. That's okay. But at the same time, Alan, the whole like the people behind City, when the embassies and everything like that have to get involved, it adds another layer to the thing. So Premier League has to be careful with it, but at the same time, like 130 charges. As Cersei says, do they get away with it, or are they going to give a punishment that us four over here are going to say they freaking got away with it?
What should happen is that they should be relegated and they should have a transfer ban for the next 4 years, at least 4 to 5 years. What's going to happen is absolutely fucking nothing. And this is why I say this, because it's going to come down to the fact that they had this scare of the Super League 4 years ago. EPL does not want to mess with that. The FA doesn't want to mess with that. Once City is told, oh yeah, you're going down, City's gonna be like, fine, you know what? Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, you still want to do this thing? We'll do it. Chelsea, come along too. We're going to do this huge Super League now thing too. So they're going to threaten with that, and they have the money and backing to do that. Not like, I know Real Madrid is full of money, but not Saudi money.
Yeah, did that boat sail, you guys think? Because FIFA is like, we're already doing ours. Thanks for asking, though. I mean, they pretty much are. I mean, this was step one, what we got going now. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Champions League games and stuff like that. You see the teams in there. You see the schedules. They're like, oh, this is great for the fans. Yeah, this is great for pockets. I mean, it's good for the fans, so don't get me wrong. But are we going to see, I mean, is the Super League, do you guys think, is a still legitimate threat to throw around?
I think it's like Alan said, if that is the case, and then like I know you said Chelsea, but like somehow Newcastle will squeeze their way in there because they just have the money to do it. So it's going to be like those teams. They'll take Chelsea. They'll take potentially Spurs if Spurs have enough money to do it, in the sense of like, will the ownership do that? But like I said, they would do it, and Real Madrid and Barcelona 100% is going to be on it because they're broke as shit. So they're like, yeah, we're in. whatever keeps us afloat. Like, honestly, mind-boggling how the Saudis haven't attempted to buy Barcelona yet. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, let's face it, Alex, when it comes down to it, you would think if they did something like that, you would expect Arsenal and Liverpool to be like, hey, we're the ones getting screwed over. We're not coming with you. But we all know when the money is involved, they'll be like, sure, why not?
That's what happened last time, right? Like they were, I don't remember the clubs that were kind of against it, but there were some of the sneaky six, as Kieran Maguire calls them, that were reluctant. And then it did. It's when it came time to make a decision, Liverpool's like, well, I'm not going to get left behind here. So that there is a threat to that. And there will always be a threat as long as Madrid and Barcelona and Juventus are kind of keeping it alive. But I don't know if how much weight it carries now, if City are still in a position, if they get hammered or are going to get hammered, if they're still in a position to say, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. I wonder if there is enough of a backbone maybe now. And because then did the Premier League make all these clubs sign something when they jiggered all the rules? Did they I forget what it was.
Right?
It was the threat of expulsion if they were to form their own Super League.
Yeah.
But
is that what it was? I remember they tighten things up. We'll see if it holds. But I don't know. I don't know that the ship will never sail. It'll always be a threat there. But I don't know how realistic it is. But
I just feel like it's one of those things that like you're sent to prison and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a league in prison. Watch this.
Yeah.
So I mean I don't know how, in terms of winning the fans, and that was the biggest problem when they tried to do the Super League, is it was the worst. You would think clubs who are worth billions of dollars would be able to afford a better PR, but it was introduced in the most horrific way. And the fans, obviously, they got a backlash from the fans as well. even though the clubs knew that the UEFA was working on this already, and they wanted to get ahead of it and keep the money to themselves instead of giving it away. But they did it so poorly that they lost. Now it is happening, and they're not getting the money out of it. But Shay, it's a whole different ball game. It's going to be hard to win the fans if you're a guy, if you're like in the jail cell and you're like, I'm innocent. We should do our own league over here, because nobody's gonna. If they didn't follow it before, there's no way in hell fans are gonna follow it now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like that almost prove it to everybody. It's like, oh, they get punished and like, oh, we're out. That just shows you like they were guilty the whole time, and this is their way to get back at it. And like I said, there's nowhere to stop it because they just have too much money. It's unfair. So, like I said, hopefully the league has some balls and will punish them the right way. But they also got to watch out for the league, I guess, which is as crappy as it is. So
I still don't understand. I mean, Sorzy says if the Premier League made this rule the way they have left themselves open for Leicester to find a loophole, then we're all good. Yeah, exactly. And I don't understand how the hell that, because weren't we all under the same impression last year? They're like, they're safe because they're down there. The moment they come upstairs, we're gonna like slap them, kind of thing. They're hiding in the basement right now, but just wait till they come upstairs. And they come upstairs and we're like, oh yeah, sorry, we're not doing anything now, which is really weird because I think we all assumed they would almost start the league like in negative points or something like that. But yeah, I guess City would get away with it then, get relegated, come right back up. But the problem is, Haaland is not going to stay down there. De Bruyne is not going to stay down there, and it's going to be
that's what
that is not going to stay
back up in the year. Like they would literally probably dominate. Like however you play on FIFA Championship to get a team promoted, they'd have the most points.
I mean, it would be genuinely stupid to have a team. City's team right now in the championship would be genuinely stupid, and I would watch I'd pay for EFL Live TV, whatever. I'd watch every single match. 100%.
I don't think it can even happen though, because that was the biggest thing when Everton was going to go down. They would have to sell a lot of players.
Yeah,
and I can imagine it's only 10 times worse for City.
And I've heard that play. I don't know where I think it was a Press Football podcast or something talking about this, and there are City players that apparently they have put clauses in to say like, hey, if worse comes to worse and this happens, like we're going to exercise a clause and we're out. So that's a lawyer thing and covering all bases. So that doesn't mean that it's going to happen or that they think it's likely, but it's likely enough.
But that says a lot, right? Like nobody that Fulham was going to sign didn't say, make sure you guys put that in there though. Like if you guys go to jail, I'm out. It's kind of
yeah. I mean, yeah. Send them all the way to League Two.
Fulham 1, West Ham 1. Is that a point lost? Like points lost at home again? I know these are the games that usually you say are ones that you got to get at home.
You got to get, and I even think the biggest thing is like to I don't know, dominate is such a strong word, but to play so much better than West Ham and to like get beat because fucking Danny Ainge, like as soon as he comes trotting on, you're like, this guy's gonna score a fucking sitter to win them. You can feel it when he comes on. I said to the guy at the bar, I was like, he's going to score. And he did. Yeah. So very Fulhamish, peak Fulham. It sucks. I think this is the one where you look back and if you finish just outside of where you want to finish, so if that's a European place or top 10 or whatever it is, 1 point above Chelsea, a point above Brentford, and you look back at this one and you're like, fuck, that's 2 points dropped. Like that, 100%. Even if it was on the road, even if Fulham had played at Bubble Stadium, whatever it's called, even on the road, the way this match went, like this is 2 points dropped. It sucks to lose like this, it feels like a loss. I say to lose. It sucks to lose points like this because you just,
I can sense the pain over here. Yes, I had the same. I had the same one. It's like in some ways, like we were, Liverpool was going to the 7-game, 22 days thing, and it's okay to maybe lose the 4th or something like that.
Yeah,
but starting off with point loss is not a good look going into the break.
And I'm not sure we'll touch on the care about today, but it's the same thing that's plagued Fulham this year. They cannot score. They score once, and then that's pretty much it so far. I think they put 2 past somebody, but like they're just not great up top yet. Muniz hasn't found the purple patch that he was in. Raul. So they're kind of lost up front. So they got to figure that out.
Yeah, it's when was it that it wasn't Fulham? I was watching a team, and actually, it was somebody on the panel. I was going to be like, maybe it was Villa. I can't remember who it was, but I was like, man, I gotta ask. Like, do you sometimes say? Because I get that feeling sometimes. You're like, okay, stop scoring, save it for next week. We're gonna need these goals, kind of a thing. And I was like, yeah, I can't remember who the team was, but
Wasn't Fulham. Say that.
Was it me last year when we were scoring like 6, going 6-0, 5-0, and then like 3-0, and then
I would never want Arsenal to save anything, to be honest. So it definitely wasn't you guys. Okay. Hope we went too far over here. Palace 2, Leicester City 2. Right when we were saying, man, Palace is looking really bad. They kind of at least take a point out of that. Brighton Ipswich. This is one that messed up the parlay. I really thought Brighton would make easy work of Ipswich at home. Villa Everton. Let's talk a lot about this. This is like a good one over here. Everton once again gets. I mean, we're like, okay, they're not gonna do it again, right? It's like go.
It's happened again. It's happened again. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch the game, but I mean, you tell us. Obviously, I mean, is it one of those cases where did Everton get into a mode like, holy shit, it's happening again? It's like that Office thing. It's happening. It's happening. Do we like hang on to this, or is it more of a matter of Villa waking up and the quality showing through? Because clearly,
I think a little bit of both, and it's like how we touched base earlier. You come off the international break, the team's still rusty because they haven't got to play enough. And here's Everton; they don't have anybody leaving, so they're just like, here we are. We've been practicing for the last 2 weeks while everybody else is on international duty. We're to come in. They scored that first goal. I was like, well, here we are. I was like, we may lose this to Everton. It's gonna be the one blemish. And they get the second one. I was like, all right, now I'm starting to worry. He wasn't playing too hot, and he somehow scores his goal. We tie it up, and I'm getting ready to go somewhere else. And the next thing you know, here comes Duran, Captain Chaos. I literally called it. I told it in our group. I was like, he's about to come on and score. They're like, well, we'll see what happens. And then he scores an absolute.
That is some goal too, man. That could be the goal of the year. That is some shot.
He's you can tell he's showing his immaturity sometimes because he's like complaining about starting. But I'm like, you may have the career as being the closer. Like, I wish some strikers and players would like understand that play type.
But
it's also cool to, hey, I'm gonna come on for 10 minutes and absolutely cause the most chaos, win this game for you, until everybody piss off. Yeah. And he's been doing that right now, and I kind of love it because he almost did it again today.
It's odd though. It's funny you mentioned that. You don't get that in soccer at all. Like, it's not like, I can't stand it personally, but like, I mean, anybody who follows American Scouser knows I can't stand baseball. But, the dude is like, you know what? I'm just not good enough to be a starter. So I'll just relieve. How about that? I'll just be the reliever kind of thing. Like, you have guys who admit to that role. You never have that in soccer. Baseball.
So, like, he definitely, like, he deserves a start. I'm not saying he doesn't. I just have a feeling like him playing the whole time may not be what he's accustomed, because he comes in and people are like, oh, crap, here comes this 19-year-old kid that we don't really know anything about. His teammates know. They know that he's going to do something just psychotic. They're just going to let him do it. But I think, like, for him, it's just better. He comes on for 10, 15 minutes, score. Like, all he does is score just the most absurd goals. Like, nothing is easy for him at this point. And I'm loving it because hopefully he can keep it up.
So being down 2-0, do you have more hope knowing what happened the week before?
I mean, I didn't know if you were going to do like that. Like, that'd have been crazy to hold it late like Bournemouth did, score 2 goals in like 2 minutes. But
I mean, I just didn't know if you had like a bit more confidence, or is it worse where you say it's not going to fucking happen twice in a week?
Yeah, that's my thing. There surely can't happen twice. Like, everyone's really not going to lose. Another 2-0 lead, and especially 3-2, but they let it happen. So I feel bad for Everton in that sense, because like they got their hopes up for 45 minutes, and then it dwindled down.
And didn't they delay the opening of the new stadium so that it wouldn't happen if they got relegated last year? And so they're delaying it to open next year when they're very likely to be gone down.
I don't know.
More likely to get relegated next year.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, they should probably just open it up and like, yeah, we got relegated, but at least start using the new stadium and, making money off of it. It's just
make it like a concert hall or something like that. Chelsea pulls it off at the very, very end. I did watch some of that game. Chelsea is still a question mark. So I do want to ask you guys about couple of those teams as we move forward. But let's get this out of the way and listen to Alan a little bit. Alan, I know you were confident, but are you pleasantly surprised having seen the game, because it felt like Spurs played so naive when they played. I mean, they were clearly. It's an unsmoking show, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, I couldn't get it lit up. Sorry, I was trying this. If you were looking at me like looking down the entire time, that's what I was trying to do is get this stupid thing lit up. And it wasn't. So fuck it.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I didn't mean to spoil it for you.
It's all right. It's all good. No big deal. It wasn't gonna happen.
It served its purpose, Alan.
It did. It did. Here, I just want to say real quick. Oh, I'm going to say a lot actually, but a lot was said last week about Tottenham winning 3-1, 4-1. You know, oh, Arsenal. I even said it too. I said, you know what? We don't have our strongest team. This is your best chance to actually do something here. And what happened? The same thing that happened last year. The same thing that happened the year before. 3 straight at the Lane, whatever they want to call that stupid stadium, that toilet bowl. We put them away. We put them away of a corner last year. We put them away of a corner this year. They put all this pressure. Ange ball, Apostolico ball, whatever. He did everything, you know, had all these tactics, all his players up front. And guess what? It wasn't us that were beaten down. We beat down their offense to the point where they just didn't have any firepower whatsoever. Our defense shut them down. I was laughed at. You know what? Now, let me look at the team. Jake, I want to say this real quick, Jake. This is what you said. I said that this is the best defense in the Premier League, and you chuckled and laughed. Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? That's all I have to say. All
Poor
right,
Jake.
as far
Now
as the
we know why
mentality.
Jake couldn't make it.
Yeah,
As far as the mentality is concerned, where Arsenal stand, these are the matches that they're supposed to come out and win no matter what if they're going to win the league. With their players out, their captain out, their vice captain with Rice also out, Marino out, Califury out, all these players are out. It didn't matter. We still came in and we freaking won. So that's it. That's all I have
Let
to
me
say.
take you down a couple of steps here,
Okay.
especially with this game coming up over here. Going away to City. These are the games that Arsenal should win, says Alan. Last year, that game was there to be had. And your boy Lego Heads did not really go for it. Let's face it. They played it safe. They were okay with the draw. And it kind of came to bite them in the ass, obviously, at the end of the season. We even talked about it over here. I was like, be careful what you wish for. This is fucking City, and this is what happens. Do you think that changes this week when they go to City?
I think so. I think the idea is that they're going to go there to win, especially early on in the season. I think, looking at the run-in that they had last year, thinking about it, drawing the City wasn't the killer. It was losing to Villa was the killer at the end of it. Yep.
Also losing to Fulham was pretty tough too.
Losing to Fulham and being robbed by
cigars being thrown back.
All right. I get it.
Yeah.
I should have been a wrestler. Anyways, no, I think the mentality now is to go out there and get the 3 points no matter what, even if it means sitting back and soaking in as much pressure as possible. It's going to be harder because this is a better team. This is the robotic man that is Holland or whatever. Yeah, like it's going to be tough.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because when you brought that up, it was a question I was going to ask you anyway with the upcoming week. And when you mentioned that, that's why it was good timing to ask it, because I felt like last year they could have. I don't even know if I get the same feeling this year, to be honest with you. I don't think I'm in the same mode. Last year, especially as you watched the game, you were like, if Arsenal goes at them, they can get this. But they did not. They held back and then kind of like bit them in the ass. But we'll get to next week's schedule next. Let's finish this week. Wolves 1, Newcastle 2. Has anybody figured out Newcastle? Where are we? A couple of teams I want to ask you guys about. Newcastle is one of them. Like, if you had to predict it right now, Alex, where do you think Newcastle finishes? Because last year we were all gung-ho about them. Then they had all those injuries and went on. We're really missing Sully. We're hoping we can bring him back to the panel. But, like, they're kind of under the radar now, it feels like. They won some. I mean, they beat the Spurs. They beat Spurs as well, right? I think at home. So they won some, like, tough games. This was, I mean, it's Wolves, but it's still an away win. Where do you rate them right now or rank them?
Yeah, I don't know. They're they're solidly in that tier of. I looked at it earlier, and there's a couple striations, it looks like, in the top 10 there, and they're solidly in that kind of like, to me, fringe of Europe. And if they overachieve, they can slip into that maybe Europa spot. But I don't know. They're a year or two probably away of continuing to build up a squad that can consistently like compete in the Premier League, compete in Europe, and go do it. So I think they're in that kind of 7 to 9 range of clubs. Yeah.
Shay, all right, about the same. Not a CL, not the Champions League team, but kind of up there somewhere for Newcastle.
Well, I think just them not having to play in Champions League this year will probably help them. Like,
Yeah.
like we're in the same boat. Like, we did what they did and come up here, but it's just, for me, we spent the money rightly and brought the players that the coach wanted and brought in that, what he needed. And I feel like I'm looking at Newcastle squad right now. Like, I don't feel like you brought in anybody else. Like, you still have the same group. Like, they have 3 really good players, like Anthony Gordon, Isaac, and Bruno are elite. Like, those are 3 really good. And then Nick Pope. But then he's had the same surrounding cast, and like they didn't update, didn't add to it. So like the fact that he is sitting here, they're sitting in 3rd is kind of crazy, because I know we were talking about like, do they think what's the coach? I just went blank. Whatever the manager's name is.
Which one? The one that's always next to him, or him? The
like,
guy
hey,
that acts as the manager, right?
Eddie Howe, he's still doing his job, so we'll see.
Jason or Eddie?
I know maybe he'll probably stand around the 5th or 6th if they can maintain and stay healthy, unless they buy a bunch of people in January, which I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the crazy part. That's why I wanted to see. I mean, how about you, Alan, as we circle? And I want to get to a couple of other teams and where you see them right now. But where do you see Newcastle finishing?
I mean, they're unbeaten right now. We'll see what happens. They floundered last season, going forward, and they struggled with having Champions League. Now they don't have any European football at all, right? So there's they can probably kick in and do well and get Europa League this season, but I don't see them getting Champions League.
Yeah, I think when you don't have Europe, you can kind of deal with having, like, what Shay was saying, like only so many players, because you're playing like once a week ultimately. But yeah, once you start doing these midweek games, man, if you can't rotate and keep the same quality, you're not going, especially in the league, especially in the Premier League, it's going to be brutal. Gunnar wants to see I can see Newcastle being forced to sell their prize players and not really building much. I think they're one of the teams that's just waiting and watching the city courts to see what the hell happens, because then, and that's the risk, right? If nothing happens there, 3 years from now, I think we're talking about Newcastle and their 162 charges or some shit like that. So,
everybody, because everybody knows that they got all the money, and they're like, well, anybody that we're going to buy, they're going to make us pay out the ass, and we're stuck. So,
once City gets relegated, they'll go buy everybody.
Yep, like they're going to buy everybody now. They can't afford anybody because City's charges are knocking at the door.
Another team that I wanted to ask, and by the way, we do have a couple of newcomers to the panel, and one of them is for Chelsea. So I know Alex was going to be especially thrilled with this.
Lovely.
So I wanted to break the news right away, and then we should have United back, and we're still looking for a couple of other teams, because ideally we would like to do 2 panels if we can, and maybe get matchups based on like who's playing that week and stuff like that. So Jake, and I wish Arsenal and Tottenham played every week, because it's just great. But we can't have that, unfortunately. Yeah, we would get a City guy, but I don't want to get somebody who's going to be in Championship next year. So here we go. Let's start with Tottenham. In terms of their games, I mean, Shay, let's start with you on this one. We always, everybody talks about United's, Chelsea, and stuff. Maybe because good thing Jake isn't here. Maybe because they're like a bit more relevant and stuff like that, so people like to bash on them more and get more attention. But you know what I mean. Don't be relevant. God, you guys are bad. Okay, but I mean, they have played Leicester City away. They got a point out of that. They beat Everton at home, which is like a layup. They lost to Newcastle, and obviously now they lost Arsenal. Is their record, Shay, kind of? Should Spurs fans be concerned? This is a question actually I was going to ask Jake, like how he looks at the season. Like, are the pieces coming apart? because everybody thought this season would be where they take the next step. I mean, I thought they would, and I thought they did some smart moves in the summer. Why are we not talking about Tottenham as much as, for example, we talk about United and stuff collapse-wise?
Maybe just because like they've been consistent, and I know Alan's probably more about this, like they're more annoying to him, but like it's just United. Everybody just wants to see them despise. Like I saw the tweets today of their fan just being ignorant, like, oh, more people are gonna watch the City Burnley or whoever the hell they played a game. I was like, this Champions League today. People are gonna watch that. Nobody cares about the Carabao Cup. At least Spurs fans aren't like that, ignorant and just like, hey, they're gonna watch us. Like they accept it. They're self-loathing sometimes. One of my cousins is a big Spurs fan. I give him hell all the time.
Oof.
It's like, hey, your golden guy's over here sucking. He's like, we sold him. He's not a Spurs player anymore. I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, he's the best player Spurs have ever had. He's still y'all's player. So I'm sure he was mad when he saw him score 4 goals today in the Champions League.
To be fair, 3 of them are penalties, but I did have Kane scoring and I had Bayern in that game, so kudos to him. But Alex, should Jake be concerned? Because he's not here to tell us if he's concerned, but should Spurs fans be concerned in terms of this team not taking the next step and just not being consistent enough to challenge for the top 4 is looking like? It's very early on. It's only match week 4, but
yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be worried if I were a Spurs fan. My brother's a Spurs fan too, so I'll put my Spursy hat on. No, I think was at least at Leicester and Everton. Yeah, sure, okay, get points out of that. But to be where they want to be, they would want to compete with Arsenal. I don't think. Yeah, it sucks to lose to Arsenal if you're a Spurs fan, but it was a good, hard-fought game. Okay, you can live with that one. But to lose to Newcastle like they did is one that if you're a Spurs fan and your season is going to go where you want it to go, you got to feel like you got to get that one. And so that's when I think that Spurs fans would really look as the troubling one, is if we keep having results like that we are in trouble. They're not going to finish 15th or something, but I at the beginning of the season had them kind of in a tier just below City and Arsenal, kind of with this like Villa, Tottenham kind of Liverpool-y space. Liverpool a little half above that, but in that realm. And now it's kind of looking like, oof, they might have fallen outside of that and be caught in that Europa purgatory zone for a club like Spurs that, yeah.
I'm not even going to give you the pleasure, Alan, but I will ask you about United. You already smashed them away, so I'm not going to have you go through that again. But how about United? I mean, they beat Fulham on a very last-second goal. Sorry to bring those memories back, Alex, but I was devastated. My brother was here at the time, and he was all celebrating and stuff, but then he was also here when we had the American Scouser petting crew at the pub. There were probably like 7-8 contributors, I think, spouses and stuff like that. And my brother, who was a United fan there, so he did not enjoy it a lot. We did take it easy on him. I think it was torturous enough to watch that game with us as we're like high-fiving and laughing and shit like that. But they lose to Brighton 2-1. They lose at home to Liverpool. And then they beat a Southampton team that's, kind of like the new, like another Everton. Where do you put them at? I mean, where do they end up?
8th, probably.
Okay, so who's ending up 5th and 6th, man? You guys keep putting people down over here. So who do you guys see? Like, who goes above them? And let me ask you that way, Alan. Who finishes above them?
Villa for sure. Newcastle, Chelsea will definitely get it together. So what? I said 8th, right? So that's 6th, or that's 7th, 8th, and 5th. Duh, I can't count right now. Sorry. 7, 6, and 5th.
So many numbers.
He's delirious from the win. He's delirious.
He let it all on the field. That's
perfect. Tottenham, as much as I want to give him shit, might actually get it together at the end of it, because I'll give him this. Ange is a good man. He's a good manager. As long as he can, put in his philosophy and can stay on, they're going to finish 4th, and then Liverpool, City, Arsenal. So that's how it's going to finish up in front of United.
Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Tottenham. Is that what we did there?
I did Arsenal, City.
Oh, okay. Liverpool. Sorry, I'm just I thought that's what you were doing there. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really like I really like him. It's kind of it gives me like Silva vibes. I find that as a manager, that's hard to not like. I see press conferences and stuff like that. I like, Maybe it's the accent, but I like what he says and how he carries himself and some of his
Mate.
answers. He seems like a very straightforward, honest dude. But it also gives a lot of like club vibes in terms of, but not successful, like a very risky system that is not working. And that's, I think, it's not a good thing. And the fact that he kind of constantly complains about the situation that he's in. I mean, I was listening to one press conference after this week's game, after the Arsenal game. He didn't say it, but it was very similar. If you read between the lines, it was very similar to when he was complaining last week when they were rooting. What was that? Like Arsenal? They
were
lose to City so that Arsenal
would
win or something?
They were cheering. The fans were cheering the fact because, the mentality that they have instead of wanting Champions League football. They wanted City to win against Tottenham so that Arsenal can lose the league.
Yeah, was that last year? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big talking point. There was like a lot of fans who were
big.
Yeah.
And I know, like I said, when I listened to the press conference, he didn't come out and say the same thing, but it sounded awfully like it in between the lines where you read them. But let's take a look at next week. Villa, Wolves at home. Is that like a trap game for your boys?
It is, because it's a derby, so, Wolves are going to come out swinging. We just got to make sure we can maintain after today's win and just keep it rolling, because like Alex said, you got to take the points from the teams that you're supposed to, and when you have to play the bigger teams, that's when you can not quote-unquote slip up, but to keep yourself safe.
Like Forest at home, yes. I know what you mean. Fulham, Newcastle. Speaking of Newcastle, so what do you expect to see against them this week?
Hopefully reaction. I think the Carabao Cup side today was like almost completely rotated. I think hopefully reaction from Saturday and then today, and Marco can kind of light a fire under their ass a bit. I think being Fulhamish, it's going to be an Alexander Isak piss missile in the 98th minute to tie it up. So I'm preparing myself for that. But no, I think Fulham have a good chance. I think Newcastle at home is never, like the last several years, has been a really unkind match to Fulham, just the way that it's been. But no, I think that Fulham have every chance in this, and would love to see more than one goal. So if Fulham can get Rodrigo Muniz some chances up front, he can.
So was today's game, like, how big of a deal is that to be off early?
It sucks. It sucks because how fun the semifinal Carabao Cup was last year, and how fun it was to like get to that point, especially when you're in that zone or Fulham are where you're consolidating, right? And so you're not pushing on to Europe realistically yet. And so you're saying, all right, let's consolidate, stay out of the relegation fight, and just kind of move ourselves forward. And to have a cup run to distract in the middle of that is kind of fun. Of like, all right, we're not going to win the Premier League, we're not going to Europe, but like we're going to play Liverpool in a 2-leg final, and if we win, we're going to Wembley. Like, how fun is that? And so to have that taken away, even if it is a Mickey Mouse Cup, kind of sucks. So yeah, we're mostly disappointed. And then to lose it how we did today is so stupid. Like the longest penalty shootout in English domestic competition history, and Fulham lose it to Preston North End. Like the most peak Fulham thing you can imagine.
Did you get to a point where you were like, I don't even care who wins anymore, just somebody?
It was terrible. It was awful. It was awful. Yeah.
Sorry, I mean, they are the original Invincibles, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. Liverpool, Bournemouth. Talking about a reaction, a home Premier League reaction is what I'm hoping for, because I'm going to be watching with another bunch of Liverpool fans at the Fan Fest. Again, if you're going to make it up to the Fan Fest, shoot us a message. Maybe we can get together and meet up. And if you're a Liverpool fan, I can throw you a couple of American Scouser swag your way and stuff like that. City, Arsenal. We talked a little bit about it, but this is kind of like the game of the week in that sense. And thank God it's on Sunday, because I'm not going to have to deal with fake City fans and cocky Arsenal fans at the same time, because I don't think I could handle that. But what is your score prediction for this one, Al?
My score prediction is we're going to squeak it out. And it's going to be, we're going to squeak it out. Yes. It's going to be 1-0 again. I'm banking on the fact that we're going to do really well defensively, and we did it to them. We blanked them last year at City. We should have just scored, but whatever. I think this time around we're gonna find a way, either on a counter or on a set piece, but we're not going to rely too much on the set piece considering it's not Tottenham and the city knows how to defend those. So
damn. Poor Jake. I swear.
I know.
Now I know why he didn't make it. And good call by him. Gunnar says, "Where's the fan fest?" It is at Chicago this time.
Yep, in Lincoln Park.
Where do we know where in Lincoln Park it is?
That's a good question.
There's
a map. So Lincoln Park, like on the actual park, right by the beach.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yep.
I was told to go there early.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to go there like 6:30 early, but 9 o'clock. Your 9 o'clock games as well, right, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking like 7:30 ish. This there's like a bunch of swag, but I'm not gonna get in line for 3 hours to get a keychain. So I'll pass. But I hear it's a good time, so it should be interesting.
Yeah.
And I will have a ton of coasters with me. So if you're a Liverpool fan, come tap me on the shoulder, and I will punch you with a bunch of coasters. Come out and meet us out over there. Alan is going to be there as well.
Yep,
he will
Sunday.
have to use the shades then because it's supposed to be hot, I think, too. So
nice.
I'm glad. I didn't think about Sunday. How you're right, Arsenal's here on Sunday. I didn't think about it because I'm very glad that we won't have to deal with all the City fans. I think at this point, have they reached the point like that meme where they look at each other and go, "Are we the baddies? Are we the bad guys here?"
There's a discussion I need to have. Speaking of Alex, you having a brother, and Shay, you having a cousin that are Tottenham fans. I have a City brother. It's not fun. And then
is there any self-awareness of this?
Yes, it's a good question. Actually,
he doesn't care. He only cares when it shits on me.
Yikes. There's a lot riding on this weekend then.
Is it just like ignorance? Like, are they just, is he just like, I don't even know what you're talking about? Hold on, I got a call. Like, what is he doing? Like when the conversation comes up?
His firstborn is on the way in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to say real quick that if Arsenal win, that firstborn is going to be an Arsenal fan no matter what. He is not going to be a City fan.
I thought you were going to say you had like wagered naming rights.
Yeah, like
he
name after
Kai Havertz.
He was about to name
the name of the
he was
baby.
about to name him Leandro, and I was going to let it happen without saying anything otherwise, and then he realized his mistake.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna find kind of wager like he was gonna be named Arteta, and you can buy him a bunch of fucking Legos as he grows. Alex, what do you see happening in that game? Because I hear a lot of optimism, but kind of like shot in the dark from Alan over there. Hey, I mean, I'm rooting for a draw or an Arsenal win because anytime City loses points is a good ordeal. So ideally a draw, but what do you see, Alex?
I mean, that's exactly what I think. I root for City to lose points pretty much whenever. Unless they're playing Chelsea, and then I kind of suck it up. But City to lose points whenever. But I think I said this like every single week last year is like until City show or until anyone shows that they are able to consistently pull one over, like Arsenal almost did last year, right? But it kind of petered until anyone is able to show that one, they can stop Haaland. I'm not going to pick against them, right? And so like if that's a draw or if that's Haaland scores 2 and they win 2-1 or something like that, that's what I'd put money on if I had to. But yeah, until someone shows like you can consistently stop Erling Haaland, I mean, it's outrageous. He's a cheat code.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
if there's any club in the country right now that can do it, it probably is Arsenal, right? Like if there's anybody that can,
did it twice to them last year. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, is anyone that could? But it's ridiculous.
Well, Gunnar sounds like Arteta is in the comments. He says, "I'll take the draw now if given the opportunity."
Yes, dude, there it is. See,
Arteta has entered the chats. Yes, Shay, what do you expect to see?
Yeah, I'm with Alex too. Just the draw, but like I said, Haaland right now is on just unreal form. I just saw them tweet out today 99 and 100 is freaking ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
That is just an unreal stat. Like I know that he plays for them, but it's crazy we're witnessing a guy like this. And we never thought that would see a striker like Zlatan, but I think he's better than Zlatan Ibrahimovic at this point. So we'll see. Like I said, if they can stop him, that'll be nice because then that may put him through a little slump. I mean, I know he's a Terminator and very robotic, so something tells me he'll just keep doing what he's doing. So I just need Gabriel and the other defender just to keep just mess with him. Like I would just be constantly hovering around him and just making sure you do not lose him.
Yeah, he has struggled every time against Saliba, especially.
Yep.
Like Saliba is the nice thing about Saliba is he's as quick or almost probably faster than Haaland. So it's a nice thing to have.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I'm hoping for a draw, I hate to say it, I think City pulls this one off, and then we have to wait for the court's decision to get the points taken away.
Yeah,
what we're going for, but we haven't done this in a while. I don't know if Mecca does this as well, but this is back.
Hey!
Yes.
We are putting money where Tonali's pocket is and placing our bets. The upsets of the week, the biggest turnaround the money can make. I'm on a good roll, actually, between NFL and... So I just probably fucking jinx myself. I'll lose everything I made over the last 2 weeks. But on a decent roll over here, smaller wagers, but it's getting us slowly but surely. Alan, we'll start with you. What is your upset special?
My upset special is Crystal Palace getting it done on United. Eddie Nketiah getting the winning goal at the end. It's going to be special.
I mean,
that's funny. Like we're not there yet, but I know this time last year we were like, "Is that even an upset when somebody's beating Chelsea and stuff?" We're not there yet. It's still early going. So we will accept Crystal Palace as the upset right now. Shay, what do you have?
Let's see. I'm thinking Brentford. I'll take them. They're just going to keep pounding onto Spurs misery. So Brentford will pull it off, and then
no, that's mine as well.
We'll not see Jake for a long time.
Yeah, the way Brentford plays. See, Gunnar says Bournemouth gets to draw against Liverpool. I think not after the Forest game. If we had beaten the Forest game, I would be worried about it. But especially the way the game went today, I'm hopeful. But Alex, what's your finale?
I think, biggest upset of the week: Arsenal over City. No. Alan over here catching strays. No, I think I'm going to be a little bit of a homer pick. I think Crystal Palace and United is a good shot. I think the way Palace ended last year and they've started this year kind of meh. And so that is technically an upset, but I think the quality is there and I think they can do that. But a little bit of a homer pick. I think Fulham over Newcastle. I think Fulham's recent form, they will be they will very likely be the dog in that, even playing at Fulham. And I think they can get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's why I asked you guys, because I'm kind of like confused and lost on where I rank Newcastle right now, and that's why I want to get your guys' take. So I don't even know, but you're probably right. Probably if I look at the odds, I bet you, Newcastle is favored just based on form and like overall team and stuff like that. But I am going with Brentford as well. The way they play and the way they played against City. And man, Brentford could be. So this is basically, they already played Liverpool. They played City. And mind you, while they lost, they didn't lose poorly, and they played well in both games. I can see that team actually being in like 6 to 8 because the rest of their schedule obviously is going to be a lot easier. You're not liking this?
Shoot me. Wasn't that when didn't Frank say that last year where he was like, we're playing team? Didn't he make a comment about that? We're playing teams tough, and he said something to that effect, and then they ended up in whatever they were 15th or whatever.
A lot of Brentford hate.
You ever met a Brentford fan? Has anyone here ever met a Brentford fan?
I have not met a single Brentford
It's a
fan.
fake club.
I have not.
No.
The funny thing is, we had a clip.
Other fans, Sunderland fans, I've never met a actual Brentford fan.
No.
Oh, I didn't know this.
3 Tottenham fans went to the Globe.
And Mbuemo out. We did a couple of seasons ago. We did a prediction show for like every team before the season started, and it was like 10-15 minute clips, and we posted it. You should see the hate we got on the Villa clip, by the way, Shay. I mean, that thing went like viral because at the time we were like very new. People, like, videos were getting 10-15 views. That went up way above 1,000 and stuff. So I think like some Villa fans were like, listen to these morons and stuff like that, and shared it all kinds of comments. But we were dead right, because that's when we were talking about Gerrard. And we were saying like it's not going to work and stuff like that. So we were dead right. Nobody came back and said, hey, you guys were right. But when we were talking about Brentford, we joked about like if there are any Brentford fans. And not a lot of comments on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have to get one on the panel now just for shit.
It's not a real club.
We let's find out. Let's scour around.
I mean,
find a Brentford fan.
They have done well. Yeah.
Put like Craigslist ads, like looking for Premier League
Any
panel show
Brentford
looking
fans
for a
wanna relate,
Brentford
we
fan.
need some representation, just a little bit.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I mean, they have done well.
Look-
I think Gunnar is right. I mean, to them, I mean, you can probably relate to that, Alex. I mean, they've struggled at times, but overall, I mean, the football they played and stuff like that. If you're a Brentford fan, you're probably not too, bummed over what they've done.
No, if they existed, they would be pretty happy with how the team is done. I think they built that nice little Legoland stadium over there, Hounslow Bus Stop FC. Yeah, they're yeah.
Oh man,
We need to get a
if they have fans, we're definitely gonna find out because
Yeah,
I
you're gonna find out now. They're gonna be
Sure.
like, "Hey, y'all remember when No Talk Crap?" I mean,
Come on. I welcome it.
Okay, I'm gonna have Archie clip this for us, and we're gonna post it, and we'll
welcome
see
it.
if there are any Brentford fans out there that come and kind of like stick
See.
up. If you're a Brentford fan out there, comments,
Yeah.
Find us at the Fan Fest.
Yeah, come find us. Yeah, we want you on the show. We do.
After
I don't
you
know,
beat
dude,
Tottenham,
dude,
go
you're just
find
asking for it. Especially Alex is definitely asking for it. I'm kind of a neutral, so if you're gonna go like suddenly smash somebody, Alex is the one talking the most shit. So.
September 17th. This is when I went full heel. I went full heel on September 17th, boys and girls.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Z. I
man.
appreciate
Oh,
it.
man.
Maybe one day.
Well, looking forward to next week already because we'll have a lot of hopefully memories from this fan fest. We'll see if Alex got to meet a Brentford fan, and we will. I'm gonna take a picture. I'm like, I found one, and then see
Please
what
do.
happens. But hey, have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.